Hello and a warm welcome to the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Jumai Yusuf. First, the headlines. Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission appraises Saturday's presidential and National Assembly polls in Nigeria. Domestic Observer Organization gives pass mark to credibility of presidential election despite few hitches during the polls. Plus, voting peaceful in Senegal's presidential election as polling stations officially open on Sunday. Now the news in details. We'll begin with the latest report from Dakar, Senegal, where the incumbent president Macky Sall has been declared winner of the Sunday presidential election. Macky Sall won 57% of the total vote cast as announced this morning by the country's Prime Minister, Mohamed Boun Abdallah. Sunday's vote pitted Sall against four lesser-known candidates who campaigned hard against his bid for a second term in the West African country. A geologist by training, Sall took over as president in 2012 after beating his former mentor Abdoulaye Wade. This time he campaigned for a second time, championing his emerging Senegal infrastructure project to boost economic growth. Back in Nigeria, former Liberian president and head of the ECOWAS Election Observer Mission, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has presented the ECOWAS Election Observer Mission's preliminary declaration on the conduct of the 2019 general elections. Dennis Adegunloye reports that the delay of arrival of electoral materials and subsequent late start of the accreditation and voting process in many units was an issue of note for the Commission. However, the electorate were commended for their conduct in the situation. Security challenges in some parts of the country were also noted, but there was positive feedback for security agencies.
The ECOWAS Observation Mission considers the electoral process were largely peaceful and transparent, as voters were able to cast their votes freely. In most of the polling units visited, there was an effective presence of security agents and domestic and international observers.
Addressed challenges faced with the card readers and maintained its efforts at keeping the public informed of developments in a transparent manner before official declaration of the results.
The Commission commends the Independent National Electoral Commission for dedication and professionalism and appreciates the effort of political parties for their commitment and their demonstration of maturity during the process.
Political candidates were also called upon to maintain the spirit of the commitment made in the peace accord. Meanwhile, Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, Jigawa, Africa's parallel vote tabulation situation room for the presidential election, says the few hitches experienced during the conduct of the February 23rd poll do not necessarily undermine the overall credibility of the process. This was the observation at their preliminary media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Jigawa's Watching the Vote Situation Room deployed 3,906 observers throughout the country to every state and all 774 local government areas. These include 3,030 parallel vote tabulation observers who deployed in pairs to a random and representative statistical sample of 1,515 polling units during the conduct of the election. This deployment enabled Jigawa Africa to independently verify the accuracy of the official presidential election results when they are announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
There's a lot of data that's still coming in because this is preliminary, things could change.
Similarly, the Center for Transparency Advocacy at its own situation room commended the Nigerian people for their resilience and commitment to vote in the February 23rd election.
We salute every Nigerian for braving the odds in spite of the difficulties. Recognizing the challenges which culminated in the suspension of the elections of the 16th February, we commend the leadership of INEC for the frameworks and mechanisms it put in place within a very short time in ensuring that elections held yesterday.
Both situation rooms are to issue their final statement after the announcement of the presidential election result in comparison with their observations. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Still on updates on the election, collation of presidential results from states have commenced at the International Conference Center, Abuja. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu opened the center after updating Nigerians on some events of the elections earlier. Mayor Ogidi reports.
The presidential and National Assembly elections that started on the 23rd of February 2019 spilled over to Sunday, 24th of February 2019. This, according to the INEC chairman, was as a result of some failed smart card readers. So, new ones were deployed to those centers and the elections continued. He, however, expressed anger in some incidents where corps members were kidnapped, and in the worst scenario, one was even killed in Degema, River State. It was indeed a emotion-laden voice in which this chairman spoke, and he warned that perpetrators of such act will be brought to book as interactions with the Nigerian police is ongoing to unravel the perpetrators.
While in all these attacks, election staff sustained injuries, we have unfortunately recorded the first fatality in River State.
From there, we moved to the main hall of the National Collation Center within the ICC, where the chairman, at exactly 6:30 p.m., declared the venue open, after reading about 13 grand procedures that will govern the hall while it lasts.
Arrival, the scopes will be received in the open, and people will know who has arrived, and the responsibility of the Secretariat is just to organize the sequence of presentation by the scope. At the moment, no scope is around. Some of them are expected tonight.
So for now, proceedings at the Collation Center have been adjourned till 11 a.m. on Monday, 25th of February 2019. Mayor Ogidi, NT News.
In another development, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, warned that no one should engage in unlawful announcement and dissemination of election results on any platform, as that remains in the jurisdiction of the electoral umpire, INEC. In a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Mba, Acting IGP also commended Nigerians for their massive turnout and orderly conduct during the presidential and National Assembly elections. He also commended the personnel of the Nigerian police force and other security agencies for their sacrifices towards the successful conduct of the election. The acting IGP indicates that notwithstanding a few unfortunate incidents, including loss of lives recorded in few places, the exercise was generally peaceful, stating that the number of arrests for various electoral offences across the country stands at 128. The IGP has directed the Special Election Investigation Team to immediately commence discreet investigation of all security-related infractions during the elections and ensure that all persons found culpable are brought to book in accordance with the law. The Integrity Friends for Truth and Peace Initiative, TIFPI, an accredited domestic observer organization for the 2019 general elections in Nigeria, has condemned the wanton killings of Nigerians during the exercise in various places. In a statement, Executive Director and Lead Observer of the organization, Livingston Wechi, expressed displeasure over the killing of INEC and ad hoc staff on rivers Ibisiki and Metri, as well as destruction of properties, particularly election materials. The Domestic Observer organization therefore called for a commission of inquiry into these cases of violence and killings with a view to bring perpetrators to justice. The organization proposed that a 30-year jail term be enshrined in the law as punishment for electoral violence offences. It, however, commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for holding strong despite overwhelming attempts by certain desperate politicians to scuttle the process in many places across the country. Alleged ballot box snatching making the rounds in the conduct of Saturday's election has not been confirmed by the Security or Independent National Electoral Commission. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that a misunderstanding occurred in Gayam ward of the metropolis, resulting from slight delay in the arrival of electoral materials and commencement of balloting. Officials say there was no attempt to snatch ballot boxes as reported in some media. They recommend security personnel for bringing the situation under control. Meanwhile, an ad hoc staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission engaged for Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections in Safana local government area of Katsina has been abducted by unknown kidnappers. The kidnapped ad hoc staff, Yazid Abdullahi of Runka B, Garim Magaji polling unit 011 Safana, was abducted while on his way to the registration area. The resident electoral commissioner in Katsina, Ibrahim Zarewa, confirmed this via a telephone conversation with the electoral officer, Safana local government area, Sabiu Abdul Qadir. He said the kidnappers took away Abdullahi, leaving behind election materials. While interacting with the State Commissioner of Police, Sanusi Baba, confirmed that one person has been arrested in connection with the abduction, and investigations still on to bring the perpetrators to book. Still on electoral matters, the Jigawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner Mahmoud Isa has denied cancellation of any results as being rumored on the social media. Ibrahim Sani has an update from Dutse.
Although the collation of the election results for the Saturday's presidential election is yet to commence, however, everything has been put in place to ensure smooth conduct of the exercise. With us in the Resident Electoral Commissioner Jigawa State will tell us more on when we are expecting the result to start coming to the Collation Center here in Dutse.
Actually, at this point I'm talking to you, we have local government that have already completed the collation of the results, namely Malamadori, Yankwashi, Kafin Hausa, Taura, and Gagarawa. They are already driving on their way to Dutse, the capital of Jigawa State. Moreover, other 14 local government, they are already in the process of collation, and they will finish in the next 1 or 2 hours, and they will start coming. And remaining, they are in the process of the collation. No, there's nothing like cancellation. What happened, there was a little bit of deferral of time. In the process of election, we have technical failure of smart card reader. So it's a matter of failure of technology in the process of election. So under the, as at that time, people were already in the queue, they are anxious to vote. So in order to save time, because people are tired and they seem to avoid problem, so what we decided to do is we told them, okay, we can defer it to 8 o'clock in the morning so that people can go back home and come back afresh. And we continue this morning. The election is ongoing, and we hope to finish in the next 1 hour or so.
And from the southwest, the Lagos Central Senatorial District, one of the 3 senatorial districts in the state, has declared the winner of the 2 federal constituencies in the Lagos Island local government area. The All Progressives candidates recorded the highest votes in both constituencies. Rotimi Oluwabemi witnessed the declaration in Lagos.
And I declare that Mr. Eniton Dolapo Badru of APC has satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, and is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Akiolu Mashuk Kayode of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law and secured the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner.
That was the outcome of the federal constituency election held on Saturday. Honorable Enitan Dolapo Badru, representing Lagos Island Constituency 1, pulled a total vote of 15,245 to beat other contestants, while his counterpart, Honorable Akiolu Moshood, of the same APC party, recorded a total vote of 12,988 to emerge the winner of Lagos Island Federal Constituency 2. The Lagos Island Electoral Officer, Ayinla Sadiq, who described the moment as historic, said the 2019 general elections was a huge success. The winners of the election, who were visibly elated about the outcome of the elections, reiterated their plans for the people.
We are in a developing world. Challenges happen every day. Things crop up which you don't even imagine. and so be it. When they come up, we will tackle them.
In terms of the oversight functions and the constituency project, I would ensure dividends of democracy is brought back to my people down here, and all our promises to them for security, improvement of life and properties are put in place.
As at the time of this report, Sadiq said the Central is yet to receive the senatorial result for 3 local government areas, urging INEC to expedite action. The declaration was witnessed by party agents, security agents, party faithful, and the media. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
And as the results trickle in, Umar Mohammed Bago of the All Progressives Congress APC has been declared winner of the National Assembly elections for Chaichaga Federal Constituency in Niger State. The returning officer, Professor Johnson Olusegun Onyero, disclosed that the candidate pulled 33,391 ballots to emerge victorious. Suleiman Kodiki reports.
That Mohammed Umar Bago of All Progressive Congress, having satisfied requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
That was the returning officer for Chaichaga Federal Constituency election, Professor Johnson Olusegun, declaring Umar Mohammed Bago as the winner of the election. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Abdullahi Buba, came second with 17,869 ballots, followed by the candidate of Action Democratic Party, ADP, Umar Hamid, who scored 4,415. 49 political parties presented candidates for the contest that saw Umar Mohammed Bago as the winner for third time, setting record in the constituency. The result of the election was declared amidst party agents, security personnel, and INEC officials, including the Niger State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Samuel Hegu. Duplicate copies of the result was handed over to all the stakeholders for documentation. In Mina, Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress APC in Enugu State has called for outright cancellation of the presidential and National Assembly elections in the state. The state chairman of the party, Ben Nwoye, in a press briefing at the party's secretariat in Enugu, described the entire process as fraudulent and unacceptable. Eva Aneke reports.
After a brief meeting with APC candidates and other party stalwarts, the state party chairman, Ben Nwoye, expressed disappointment with the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections. The chairman alleged that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the state conducted the elections marked with irregularities.
The results of the allegedly generated by the compromised collation officers at the ward levels are higher than the numbers of the accredited voters in the card reader, meaning the card reader simply were abandoned and were not used, and they basically allowed people to vote without accreditation, and now they are struggling trying to tally the numbers.
However, the senatorial candidate of the party for Enugu West Senatorial District, Mrs. Juliet Ibeka Konwago, lends her voice to the call for outright cancellation of the election, describing the exercise as a rape of democracy.
The election started on time. That's the most important thing. But what we realized as the election went on was that there were problems with the smart card readers. And they stopped working, and we saw that people started going manual without accreditation. We also realized in the course of that ballot papers were taken away.
The party urges the people of the state to stand up for their right to ensure improved democracy in the state. In Enugu, Eva Aneke, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you travel around the world, you will find out that there is no place like Nigeria. Beautiful, peaceful, very warm and friendly climate all year round. Largest concentration of black people in the world. Hospitable, vibrant, and happy people. There is no place like Nigeria. A land of opportunities. The biggest window in the world of business and investments. Extremely rich in multicultural diversity. There is no place like Nigeria.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Now, the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa, has appreciated the people of Adamawa State for coming out in their numbers to cast their votes during yesterday's presidential and National Assembly elections. Abubakar Hamman takes the report.
The SGF expressed satisfaction with the turnout of electorate in his ward Gwadabawa in Yola North local government, who conducted themselves peacefully during the election. Boss Gida Mustafa urged them to sustain the tempo and remain steadfast as they await the official announcement of the results.
And I believe that the response I see here, the excitement is beyond any quantifiable measure. So I'm quite impressed with the turnout at my polling station.
In the same vein, the chairman, Central Working Committee, Women and Youth APC Presidential Council, Muhammad Buba Marwa, appreciated the turnout of people to exercise their franchise, signifying the consolidation of democracy in Nigeria.
We thank millions of APC members and supporters who trooped out to vote en masse yesterday, despite the initial postponement. We thank our agents who stood their grounds to ensure our results were not tampered with, and our mandate protectors who kept eagle eyes on the process. Let us all keep our eyes on the ball, follow the collation process closely, and remain steadfast until the whole exercise is concluded.
In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission says no room was created for people less than 18 years of age to participate in any election process or to have access to permanent voters' card. It is in this light that correspondent Ahmed Lawal Matazo takes a look at underage voters in Katsina State.
One remarkable plus to the Saturday 23rd February 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections was almost total absence of underage voting, at least within Katsina metropolis and its environs, where I was able to monitor. The general impression was that the modalities put in place by INEC towards PVC registration of potential voters is working, as it helped checkmate registering underage voters. The report is the same from many parts of the state, as the incidence of underage voting was barely reported by our correspondents. One other encouraging development to Nigeria's democracy noticed in the Katsina elections was a departure from the tradition where one sees politicians moving from one polling center to the other in company of thugs and miscreants. In many of the places where aspirants and political leaders went to vote, they did it within an atmosphere of peace and understanding, and the appeal they always made was that for a peaceful conduct of the elections and for the people to elect whomsoever they wish, as long as he or she is a credible candidate.
We encourage our supporters, we encourage the people of Nigeria as a whole to abide by the laws and orders and ensure that everything is done in an orderly manner.
All around the city, I came across some international foreign observers moving from one polling center to the other without engaging anyone in any kind of discussion, but silently observing what was going on. And alas, the presidential election has come and gone in Katsina State, as in most parts of the country. And from the reports we gathered, one of the most transparent and orderly election ever to be witnessed in the state. In Katsina, Lawal Ahmad Matazu, NTA News.
And to the people of Nasarawa State, Saturday's general election was like a festival with unique and unforgettable moments to choose leaders of their choice. From Lafia, Joshua Ojito tells us what makes the day tick.
It is like a national festival. The people of Nasarawa State joined other compatriots in parts of the country to answer the clarion call for a peaceful 2019 general elections. The streets and other places may not have been completely empty, but the one dominant issue among the people who are fully mobilized about the significance is to willingly participate. Across all strata of society, the turnout was impressive. Some physically challenged did not allow their condition to disenfranchise them from participating. Making ends meet is a priority for human existence, and with the need to be refreshed, traders took advantage to make bricks business. The enthusiasm, patience, and understanding among the people is obvious, even with words of encouragement by their leadership.
So far, so good. Reports reaching me across the state is that this
exercise is going on smoothly and peacefully. I've also been informed about the presence of security operatives all over to take care of people's lives and protect their property. I'm also aware that the entire citizenry are really looking up to this date, and they are discharging their responsibility very diligently, very peacefully. I believe this will be one of the most peaceful elections in Nasarawa State and in Nigeria at large.
The people are aware that what is worth doing is worth doing well towards strengthening Nigeria's democracy to benefit all in the society.
Really appreciate God for how the election has taken place and it has been successful. Indeed, it was God. So we urge every one of us to take heart and then to take the election the way it's supposed to be. Anybody that has been in the position to be the elected president, we just pray that he will rule us the way it's supposed to be. So we just have to live in peace and then harmony and then take it the way it's supposed to be.
We're here for peace. We are one Nigeria.
The deserted streets of Lafia and parts of the state are gradually coming back to life, with activities picking up, and a reminder that the election is over as the next process of good governance takes center stage.
Now, voting is one of the fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution so that Nigerians can collectively decide the destiny of their country. But imagine everyone, including security operatives, election observers, and staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission, insisting on their fundamental rights to cast their ballots within the time scheduled for voting. This brings to the fore the extra sacrifice of citizens termed as essential workers who must sacrifice their votes so that votes of millions of Nigerians can count. Hamad Jabani takes a look at this category of citizens who are unsung heroes behind the success of the election.
It was a moment Nigerians in their millions stood down their routine engagements as they answered the clarion call, voting in just concluded presidential and National Assembly elections. While they exercised their franchise, a good number of equally patriotic Nigerians could not partake in this civil responsibility. Take, for instance, NTA's Abdullahi Mohammed, who was here on duty call, away from his polling unit.
Independence Way, Kaduna, on a usual day is a very busy one, but today you can see it's deserted.
Abdullahi is just one of many Nigerians on essential duties who must remain on such duty to guarantee the sanity of votes of other Nigerians. How do you feel that you were not able to cast your ballot yesterday?
I feel normal anyway, considering the nature of my job, because it is a chosen career. I have to be in my duty posts to be able to protect lives, properties, and I feel it is just one of those things, just like those people who had to attend to patients in the hospitals, they wouldn't have any cause to complain.
At the Borodiko Teaching Hospital, I came across some electorates who wish government or INEC can make other arrangements for them. What stopped you from casting your ballots?
Because I was having a patient, so I can't leave the patient to go and vote.
I was on call, I'm a weekend call, so that means I'm just put on Saturday and Sundays. So that's why I'm here. So unfortunately I couldn't cast my votes because of my work. I wish the INEC themselves can make a provision. If they can provide a polling unit for us, either in the hospital setting, that's for those that will not be able to move down to their voting area to make the vote available.
I had the intention to cast my ballot, but I went late. And for John Shiklam, a journalist, there's always a way out if you so wish to cast your ballot.
In spite of the pressure, I find time to cast my vote yesterday. I voted at Wharf Road. The officials there were very considerate enough, and they allowed me to vote. And I voted and went on with my duties.
Meanwhile, business and vehicular activities are at the lowest in the city center of Abuja this Sunday, just a day after the presidential and National Assembly elections. Some residents attribute this to the fact that people are just coming out of the electioneering fatigue. Salwa Kali Ibrahim monitored the mood of the city in the nation's capital, Abuja.
A typical Sunday in the nation's capital, Abuja, usually record low vehicular and business activities, but this Sunday is exceptional as the town is almost like a ghost town with little or no activities in almost all places, as many have remained indoors, still basking in the euphoria of the elections while awaiting announcement of results. As you can see here, I'm in the central area. From the popular UTC shopping center in Area 10 to Wuse Market, only few shops were opened for business. Nevertheless, what's in the lips of many residents and business owners is the just concluded elections.
People are beginning to turn up, coming to market now.
I'm just going around. I'm just from the Central Mosque, and I'm here now. Everything is okay so far.
No any business at all. You can see everywhere is dry. There's no any shop now they did not open today at all. So even we didn't even see any customer around.
I want to see a peaceful Nigeria. I want to see a progressive Nigeria. I want to see a united Nigeria.
Generally, the mood of the city is that of calm and serenity despite the hot weather condition, with the presence of security personnel at some strategic locations. Meanwhile, attention of residents has been shifted to the various collation centers across the city. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Still on the mood of Nigerians after Saturday's elections, Femi Afariogun has this report from Osun.
This is Old Garage, a popular junction in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital. It is the day after the presidential and National Assembly election. Activities have commenced as everybody is going about their normal businesses. As you can see over there, people are already going back to their base after the election.
Honestly, it has been very, very fair compared to other ones.
Some area, a couple of violence here and there, but I think by and large, Osun has been very peaceful.
The police are not taking anything for granted as they station their armor tanks at major junctions in Oshogbo.
Being still in the process, nobody knows where it's going to go, but I think from what we are hearing here and there, I think it's, at the end of the day, it's going to be good news.
During the election, it was peaceful. We pray also by the time the result will be announced, we still pray that the peace will be maintained too.
As Nigerians await the announcement of results by INEC, stakeholders are calling for peace and calm. In Oshogbo, Femi Afariogun.
And the people of Akure, Ondo State capital, are back to their normal lives following the conclusion of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Some people who spoke to Olubumi Oke urged Nigerians to be patriotic and unite in the best interest of the country.
It is the day after the presidential and National Assembly elections, and people of Akure are back to their daily routine. It is, however, evident that the results of the current election are being eagerly awaited by all as they discuss the polls. But for this group of people, the atmosphere in town was conducive enough to arrange a wedding which had once been postponed. Residents who spoke to us expressed willingness to support those who would emerge as winners in the elections.
In every election, there must be a winner and a loser. And democracy is all about the supremacy of the freedom of choice. So whoever loses or whoever wins, the interest, the growth and development of Nigeria is what matters most, above the interest of any other person.
I know many people will be anxious about the outcome of the results of the election. But what I will be telling everybody now is that they should have more patience. Let God choose for us. Whosoever emerges as our new president, we should cooperate together and be thanking God.
There would be other elections on Saturday, March 9th in Akure. Olubumi Oke, NTA News.
You are still watching the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. Stay tuned for more news after the break.
call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Change begins from within. Look at you, change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. 24 hours after the Presidential and National Assembly elections, Benin City is gradually returning to its normal pace and rhythm. Jude Aweke feels the pulse of the people from across the senatorial district of the state.
Parks, streets, and business areas in the metropolis are now bubbling against the day of the election when movement was restricted. The people are impressed and satisfied with the conduct of the exercise.
I feel good. I think I'm okay with what I've seen so far. Everywhere has been very peaceful, and to my understanding, everybody came out to vote. People came out to vote, and I think it's fair.
I think the environment is calm and quiet, and we appreciate what they have done, and INEC, I think they are working hard.
The town is peaceful. There's no problem. We haven't heard anything concerning fight or any other thing. Everything is okay. We are still expecting the winner.
Magdalene Emokpai, an Edo indigene, is a first-time voter who came home from Lagos to exercise her franchise, but now about to travel back after the election.
I would say I was really impressed. You know, the government or the government of Nigeria actually managed it well. You know, the election was free of whatsoever form of violence, and yeah, it was peaceful.
There was not violence, there was not such things that is contradicts the things that is not right. But in Benin, it was okay.
Kenneth Imaswabon and Oyoje Kenneth from Edo Central Senatorial District expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the election and praised the neutrality of security operatives, which paved the way for massive turnouts and peaceful conduct across the district. Views were also sampled from the northern parts of Edo State.
The security agencies they have actually done well. I'm satisfied. And also satisfied with that next election of yesterday was okay. Thank God. It was very, very peaceful.
The people are hopeful that their votes will not only count at the end of the day, but elected leaders will work for the growth and development of the country. In Benin, Jude Aweke, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the just concluded Presidential and National Assembly elections has once again been brought to the fore. The disenfranchisement of Nigerians in the diaspora and those on essential services from taking part. John Nyakuk reports.
Mr. Francis Form is a reporter with the Nigerian Television Authority. Francis, his cameraman and driver are heading out to various polling units to cover the presidential and National Assembly elections. Therefore, they will not be able to cast their ballots.
Honestly, I was unable. In fact, I tried to see how I will move down to, or I can move down to my area to go and exercise my civic responsibility, but unfortunately, I couldn't do that.
For the period of these 10 years, I've never been casting my vote because of any election time they put us on duty.
Well, it's a normal thing, which we can't blame anybody about it.
Francis Form and his likes are not alone, as many other essential service workers have for years been denied the right to elect leaders of their choice because of the nature of their duties. This development, many believe, is not healthy for some category of citizens to be disenfranchised from having a say in who governs them.
I think that the challenge for Nigeria and the Electoral Commission, INEC, is to begin to think of ways and the means of, one, amending the legal framework, and then secondly, creating the mechanisms and the opportunities through which we can have early voting in which security officials, election officials, and other designated persons would be able to exercise their vote.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says this is possible in subsequent elections in Nigeria if the laws governing elections are amended to accommodate such.
The best time to pursue this type of thing is immediately after a general election. If a committee can work immediately after a general election, targeting the next general election. Once it is a year into the election, you find out that there's not enough time.
Smaller countries than Nigeria are able to organize while we can't, and we should not continue to disenfranchise millions of Nigerians. It's an issue of fundamental human rights to vote.
The fact that diaspora and early voting for these essential election duties have become a global practice in democracies, many feel Nigeria should not be left behind. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Still on electoral matters, women in Adamawa State have turned out in their numbers to exercise their franchise during the just concluded 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections. Bilkisu Abubakar reports on the participation in the exercise.
As early as 8 o'clock in the morning, women in Adamawa State have been on the forefront at various polling units to vote for the candidate of their choice. Women in Poda, the aged, and the first-timers were all seen on queue exercising their franchise.
I want to have my rights because my vote is my right. Once in Nigeria a citizen votes, his vote is his right. So that whatever is happening, you can be able to not vote. Honestly, I don't think you have a say. So my vote is my right. That is why I have come out to vote. Very, very important. Really, I will still come out and vote. The election exercise is very perfect.
Observers believe that with the continued voter education, more women will be encouraged to come out in the subsequent elections.
The CSOs have a lot of funding from different donors, donor groups, and development partners, and they should not relent in organizing programs for women on the electoral process. I think some have done that in the past, but it's scanty as far as I'm concerned. And most of them are restricted to literate women. So we need more of such donor funds getting into voter education at the grassroots.
And I think the women were patiently enough, because some of them came with their minds, to wait to make sure they have voted.
The large turnout of women in an orderly and peaceful manner will no doubt enhance the electoral process. In Yola, Bilkisu Abubakar, NTA News.
Away from politics to the environment, in line with the 2019 World Environmental Day, the German Embassy in Nigeria is supporting a campaign against the use of plastic bags in the country. Ijeoma Stella Ona has more on the campaign strategy.
Arts are in themselves a passionate expression of thoughts, or when they are intended for the public, which is known to be public art. The message therefore becomes targeted. Throughout history, public art has been a soundless but yet an impactful piece of creativity that is often used to convey a message. This is a public art installation, an assemblage of plastic shopping bags used to draw attention to the impending danger of plastic waste in the environment, and to also advocate for possible refusal to use plastic bags for shopping and substitute them for cotton bags made from beautiful Nigerian Ankara fabrics. Meet Ifesinachi Comedy Wanyanwu, an environmental artist. He maintains that avoiding waste, especially of every single used plastic bag, is a collective effort which does not need laws and regulations to implement, but common sense.
In Nigeria, we don't have proper infrastructure to manage waste produced by plastics. All right? Now, if you come to shopping in the market, in shopping malls, we consume a lot of plastic bags, shopping plastic bags, single-use plastics. And these plastics end up
in landfills or the natural environment. They don't decompose like paper. It takes them like 1,000 years to decompose. So what we're trying to do with this sculpture is to interact with the public, because sometimes ignorance also creates the challenges that we have with waste management. But when we have a sculpture like this that interacts with the people, especially right here in front of a shopping mall, people get to see it. People get to begin to understand the whole narrative about sustainable environment.
And this is so important, trying to draw awareness and sensitization to the fact that we need to do something about our waste pollution. And the fact that they've used plastic bags, which is single-use plastic bags, is so important, right? We need to draw attention to the fact that we need to stop using single-use, but we need to try and reuse them. Part of what we do, we actually even buy waste, right? So we just recently launched something called Trash to Cash, because not just plastic, but even your plastic bottles, your cans, your papers, cardboard, there's value in all these materials, right? And we're trying to get the word out there as well, that instead of throwing it away, there's actually you can get your cash for trash.
With support from the German embassy in Nigeria, this environmental campaign was made possible from people who donated used plastic bags, which the artists used to create this shopping bag.
Install the idea to people that there's money in waste, but the other thing is as well the environment and how to improve health and how to install this idea into Nigerians not to use plastic bags all the time and then throw them out into the nature.
During the rainy season, one of the biggest challenges you have, even around the area where I live, is you have all this plastic bag remnants in the drainage, blocks the drainage, and then it overflows and ends up flooding the environment.
The Nigerian parlance, chop chop, a theme for this work, is a reflection of how we spend money every day. But beyond that expression, as we chop and chop and chop, so does the chopping plastic bags increase in our environment. And so, there is the need to put a check to it until we are able to manage plastic waste.
Stay tuned for more news after the break. For more major events that took place in the previous week on the global scene, over now to Obiageli Nwoki.
It is voting day in Senegal and
You're welcome to the world in 6 days. Sudan's President Omar al-Bashir declared a state of emergency, dismissed some federal government officials, and sacked all state governors. Mr. Bashir made the announcement in a television address to the nation. He appointed members of the security forces as replacements. Preceding the president broadcast, Sudan's National Security and Intelligence Services say that Bashir would be stepping down. Mr. Bashir has been the focus of anti-government protests in recent weeks. Witnesses said protesters took to the streets after the announcement in the city, but were met with tear gas by police. And thousands of people gathered across Algeria on Friday to protest President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's plan to run for a fifth term. Security forces fired tear gas to block a march to the presidential palace in the capital, Algiers. However, protests in the rest of the country passed off peacefully. The Algerian premier has held office since 1999, but has rarely been seen in public since suffering a stroke in 2013. The authorities announced on Thursday that the president, who turns 82 next week, will travel to Switzerland on Sunday for medical checks. And turning now to Venezuela crisis, Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido called on other nations to consider all measures to oust President Nicolas Maduro. International pressure is building on Mr. Maduro after opposition-led effort to bring aid into Venezuela on Saturday descended into deadly violence. At least 2 persons died in clashes between civilians and troops loyal to Mr. Maduro, including a 14-year-old boy. Mr. Guaido marshaled volunteers to collect and transport the aid from Brazil and Colombia, but the effort set off fierce border clash with soldiers who opened fire using a mixture of live ammunition and rubber bullets. That's the package. Many thanks for watching. I'm Obiageli Ugoke.
It's now time for Sports Update with Gift George.
Nigeria's men's basketball team, the D-Tigers, on Sunday evening lost its final match at the second round of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers by 63-84 to Senegal. The Nigerian team, which was the first team to qualify for the FIBA World Cup slated for China, had earlier lost its first match to Cote d'Ivoire for the 6-72 and won a second match against Central African Republic 72-59. The FIFA Under-20 World Cup draws held on Sunday evening indicates that Nigeria's Flying Eagles will be playing in Group D alongside Qatar, Ukraine, and the United States of America. The 22nd edition of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup is slated for Poland from May 23rd to June 15, 2019. Young footballers in the country now have more opportunities of fulfilling their dreams of becoming great football stars in future as they learn the rudiments of the game from Barcelona Football Academy. The academy, which partners with schools in Lagos, provides a platform where players between the ages of 6 and 18 can develop their talents and also combine it with their education.
Teaching them these values first, and these values are imbibed so that when you are an excellent footballer, you can have those values and you reach the top.
Lagos State is said to have more uniform programs in achieving the set goals in sports. This was the focus of the inaugural meeting of the Forum of Chairmen of Lagos Sports Associations at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. They brainstormed on charting a new path in grassroots sports development for the state.
Maybe more cost effective. Number 2, you're able to dissipate less energy in doing the same things that one association has done when you can all do it collectively.
Nigerian male and female beach volleyball teams have qualified for the next round of the Under-21 World Championship scheduled for Cape Verde in March. This followed the team's success at the just concluded Under-21 Confederation of African Volleyball Beach Volleyball Qualifiers Cup in Ghana.
Promised Nigeria that we will no longer let Nigeria down. We are going to beat it.
Nigeria's top badminton players Anu Okpeyori and Dorcas Adeshoko have lost at the quarterfinals of the Uganda International Championship in Kampala, Uganda. They are expected to leave Uganda on Tuesday for Kenya to take part in the Kenya International, which starts off on Thursday. With Sports Update, Gifts George, NTA News.
Now let's take a quick check on Monday's weather prospect in Nigeria and some cities of the world. That's the news. Thanks for watching.
This is NTA International.
Exotic land of rainbow, a giant in the sun, rich in human and natural resources, a land of cultural diversity for tourists' appreciation. Nigeria, occupies 923,766 square kilometers, accommodating over 250 indigenous languages. It is a wonderful environment for leisure and business. Nigeria, land of milk and honey, a paradise for tourists.
When you take a tour to Africa, there is something you want to feel. There is something you like to see. The sunshine, a fertile land. Something you want to invest in, something you like to gain. Profit only in a place you can achieve your goals. Share the treasure of a good nation.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Slavery is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy. Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, now make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages, documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
In the beginning was a dream.
To the concept of migrating from the analog to the digital system.
NTA has 8 network channels. Before then, all our content were competing for one network.
As we go on,
we are very specialized. We have the parliament, entertainment, languages. Each and every one of them has its own identity that caters.
This is the network service of the NTA.
In the beginning was a dream.
To the concept of migrating from the analog to the digital system.
NTA has 8 network channels. Before
and welcome to your weekend. My name is Chine Ozo, and with me here is the lovely Eya Igboyi.
Welcome to your weekend. It's nice to always have you join us on another exciting package of the program.
Okay. So, I don't know about you. Did you do your pre-election shopping?
I did mine last week before the elections were postponed, and so I'm not doing any this week.
You're not doing any?
Nah.
Yeah, because you can't go out today, Saturday, election. All right, so talking about election, I said not election, shopping. Talking about shopping, do you use shopping bags or you just wait to get everything packed in a bag for you?
Normally when I go for shopping, I pick my items, put it in the car, take it to the cashier, pay my money, and they put it in their polythene bag, and off I go.
Okay.
That's just it.
All right. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're wondering why am I talking about shopping bags and all that. But you'll find out later, or should I say, from the lovely Temembu, who, I don't know, what are you making for us today?
I'm making an Ankara shopping bag.
Okay.
That we can use for our daily shopping or weekly as you want to shop it.
All right. So if you're going shopping, I guess you don't need to wait till you get
for
there.
the shops and
yeah, you just carry your
takeaway
own
bags.
shopping bag, maybe Ankara shopping bag.
I think I've seen you with that shopping bag before.
Yes, I have a shopping bag.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I go to the market with a shopping bag. It makes it easier.
Okay, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what
And it's
available
stronger
comes
than
up.
the polythene bag.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
let's see the end of what she's making there, and then we can discuss more on it.
All right. And we have, of course, Talking Movies. Don't forget about Talking Movies and the Weekend Entertainment. And, of course, Eya will be standing by to give us all the juicy details in the world of entertainment. And without much ado, we'll be going straight to the Weekend Entertainment with Eya.
Welcome. It's that segment on your weekend where we bring to you the juicy details of what happened in the world of entertainment. Welcome to the Week in Entertainment. We're starting our story today with Tenny. Nigerian sensational singer Teniola Akpata, better known as Tenny the Entertainer, is making waves in her music career as YouTube recognizes her effort. Dr. Dollar Entertainment Star Act made the February edition of YouTube's Artists on the Rise. Tenny is the next Nigerian artist to be considered for YouTube Artists on the Rise after Burna Boy gained the same recognition in October 2018. The Artists on the Rise features 3 songs from emerging artists every week, and a new monthly offering will provide an in-depth look at one of those artists. So far, Tenny has kept on wowing her fans with hits like Virgin, Wait, Asmaya, Case, and others. Congratulations to Teniola Akpata. Still with our Nigerian music artist, Nigeria's hip-hop singer Davido is keen on taking his hit single Fall to the next level. Davido has agreed to feature American rapper Trevor George Smith Jr., popularly known as Busta Rhymes, and Pryor in the next remix. The hit single Fall made history when it was announced by Billboard as Nigeria's longest charting single in history and remains on the chart for 4 weeks in a row. Report has it that Busta Rhymes has since shown interest in Fall when he was caught on camera grooving to the tune in December 2018. You will recall that Fall Musical became the first Nigerian video to hit 100 million views on YouTube. Alright, that was Davido and his Fall garnering waves wherever he goes. Back to another story, not an exciting one if you ask me. Empire actor Justice Smollett has been classified as a suspect for allegedly filing a false police report in which he claimed he was attacked in Chicago last month. The move came weeks after the Empire actor told Chicago police he was attacked on January 29th by 2 men who threw a bleach-like chemical on him, calling him anti-gay slur and putting a rope around his neck. Smollett has maintained that he was a victim of the hate crime, and the reported attack quickly received global attention, putting immediate pressure on Chicago police to solve the case, leading to the interrogation and arrest of 2 Nigerian brothers who have since been released by the police after no evidence was found linking them to the crime. Meanwhile, and according to reports, the 36-year-old actor's filmed role in Empire has been slashed from 9 to 4 scenes since this development. So that's to say, we won't be seeing more of Jamal in Empire. His scenes has been slashed from 9 to 4. If you're one of those fans that like Jamal in Empire, wow, we're not going to see much of him in that particular television series. German fashion designer and photographer Karl Lagerfeld is dead. Karl, 85, passed away in Paris, France, following several weeks of illness. Before his death, Karl worked as the artistic director of luxury fashion house Chanel, as well as the creative director of the Italian fashion brand Fendi. He also designed Collation for his own fashion brand, one of the most iconic fashion figures to ever live. Karl began his career in 1955 as an assistant to Pierre Balmain. He went on to work with a couple of other brands, including Jean Patou and Tizani and Chloe. May his gentle soul rest in peace, a huge loss in the fashion industry. A house in London where Bob Marley sought refuge after the trauma of an assassination attempt in Jamaica is to have an English heritage blue plug installed in it. Marley and his band, the Wailers, in 1977 lived at the house on Oakley Street in Chelsea, during which they completed the recording of the album, Exodus, Marley's 9th studio album. Described as a masterpiece and which was named by Times magazine as the best album of the 20th century. According to reports, in addition to Marley, novelist Angela Carter, writer and traveler Gertrude Bell, and war correspondent Martha Gellhorn were among a cluster of names announced as figures to be celebrated in 2019 by London Heritage Scheme. On to our last story on the week in entertainment today. The Nigerian Football Federation has announced the death of Chukwuma Agbo, who until his death was the assistant coach of the Beach Soccer Eagles. On the verified Twitter handle, the NFF described the death of Agbo as another painful loss. Thus, the statement reads, We are sad to hear of the passing of assistant coach of our beach soccer national team, the Super Sand Eagles, Chukwuma Agbo. Our prayers are with his family at this time. May his soul rest in peace. Agbo died on Wednesday after a brief illness. The late Agbo, who resigned as the head coach of the Delta Force in January, led the club to the Nigerian National League, Super 8, where they ended 4th in Group B. May his gentle soul rest in peace. And that's how much we have on the week in entertainment. The rest of your weekend continues.
So that's the weekend entertainment with Aya. Some very interesting stories, some not so interesting stories there, especially the one about Jamal.
In fact, I'm still angry.
Me too. When I heard it initially, I was so upset.
I was just telling Tochi that I don't know what Empire is going to look like without Jamal, because his scenes are one of the things I look out for when I'm watching Empire. Are we going to be left with just Hakeem and Andre? Like,
it's sad, and we don't even know how true the story is, or, you know.
No, for them to have gone ahead to declare him a suspect and all, they must have done their investigation.
That he has been arrested.
So it's so sad.
Yeah.
And then sad with the fact that he had to use Nigerian brothers. Nigeria in the news again.
All right, so that's it on the week in entertainment. Moving on the show, we bring you beauty tips put together by Ijoma Stella Honor.
Hello viewers, welcome today again to another segment on the beauty tips on your weekend. You know, it's always a station you tune into when you want to know that thing about your skin and get the necessary information on how to take care of your skin and the right product to use. So we're still talking about the causes of acne, and now we are going to look at cosmetic products. Yes, cosmetic products. A lot of times people use skincare products that they don't have an idea about. Okay, because you see your friend using this product and it's so fine on her, it's so beautiful, her skin is flawless and everything, and bam, you go getting yours. Not minding the fact that your skin type and her skin type differs. So before you get a skincare product, one thing you should have at the back of your mind is your skin type. What is my skin type? You need to know your skin type. So when you know your skin type, you know the products to purchase. So, you know, like we've always said, we have the dry, the oily, the combination skin, the sensitive skin, and the normal skin. So if a normal skin person is using a cosmetic product and you go use that same product when you have an oily skin, be ready for that pimple flare. Be ready for that inflammation. Be ready for that redness on your face, because definitely it will come. You're using the wrong product. So now, how does cosmetic affect your skin and causes flare-up, acne flare-up? If you have to buy a cosmetic product, let's say for example your makeup, sunscreen, moisturizers, body lotions, and these products are comedogenic. These products are greasy. They have strong emollients that can clog your pores. You will definitely have a breakout. Have you at any point in time bought a powder or a foundation, and after applying it, before you know it, you have one pimple here and there that you never had? Now, if you found yourself in that situation, know very well that the product, the makeup you bought, is the cause of your acne. When you use a product that are comedogenic products are products that clogs the pores. It doesn't allow oxygen flow between the pores of the skin. So when you use the products that are comedogenic, it traps in debris, it traps in oils. And when these oils get trapped in your pores, they will definitely flare up. They will cause acne. It causes a film. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of occlusion, but occlusion is when you apply a product on your skin to seal in moisture and every other thing that is inside the skin so that it doesn't escape. So when you use a cosmetic product that's occlusive in nature, it's going to clog your pores. And when it clogs your pores, you will definitely have an acne breakout. So if you have an oily skin, you have to look out for the word comedogenic. You have to look out for products that contains petroleum jelly. Products that contains petroleum jelly aren't good for acne skin because it will further occlude the oil and the debris that are on your skin and make sure they don't escape. And then the P. acne will now feed on these oils and you will have acne. So whenever you're buying any cosmetic product, whenever you're buying your makeup, whenever you're buying whatever cosmetic thing that you put on your skin, always ask the question, are they occlusive in nature? Are they comedogenic? If they are, you know that the products aren't for you. If you're buying your cleanser, you need a light cleanser. You need a cleanser that is specifically stated that this is for an oily skin. And then you can go ahead to purchase such. Even if you have a combination skin, because you know a combination skin, you have the oils on the T-zone of your face. So if you have a combination skin and you go ahead to use a product that are occlusive, which are actually good for the drier part of your face, you will definitely have breakouts on the T-zones only. So it's very important that you know your skin type and you know that any products you buy, if you have an acne skin, are products that are not occlusive and products that are not comedogenic. Thank you so much for being with us today. Hope to see you next week as we still talk about the causes of acne.